Are you looking for different ways to base coat your rocks? Are you new to rock painting and have no idea to start? Or maybe you've been rock painting a while and you're looking for something new to try. Well, today we are going to share with you 5 different techniques for base coating your rocks. If you don't recognize my face yet, my name is Susie and I'm the hands behind the tutorials on Rock Painting 101. On this channel, we are constantly giving you fresh ideas of things you can paint on your rocks and new techniques to try. So if you haven't already, take a moment to subscribe and let's go. Let's dive right into the first of 5 ways to base coat your rocks. So the first technique that we're going to talk about today is an acrylic pouring style base coat. Now, this is a way to base coat a lot of rocks all in one sitting using acrylic paint that you probably already have around the house. In this example, I'm using black paint. I have done this with white paint and with colored paints as well. The one thing you want to keep in mind is that whatever paint you decide to use, you might have some leftovers, so I always like to use a color that I'll want to use a few more times. So I usually stick with basic base coat colors like blacks and whites. As you'll see in the little video here on the side, we water down the paint a little bit to help it kind of flow over the edges. So it really covers really well, very even coats. So a couple pros about this is it's kind of fast. Once you get in a rhythm, you can have 2 little areas you can go back and forth. And I've got a full-length video on this tutorial that I will leave a card to here and down below if this looks interesting to you. You can do this when you're indoors. You don't have to worry about how the weather is outside. And it really does give you a nice smooth and even coat. And if you place them on parchment when they're drying, you give them a little wiggle, the paint that kind of flows over it as it's drying will help cover the back pretty well. So they do work great for a nice solid color base coat. The only con I can think to this is it is a bit messy. So you kind of have to prep your surface. I always do a lot when I do them just because getting it all out, letting them all dry can take some time. So if this looks interesting to you, again, the link to the full-length tutorial on this style is below, and it's listed in the cards as well. Okay, the second tutorial we're going to share with you today is using spray paint to base coat your rocks. We had a guest post on our site from Rocks of Joy. Again, the link is down below if you need more information. She likes to use different colors to make a gradient effect to base coat her rocks. Now, one of the biggest pros about this is you can do so many so quick. You can just lay them all out, head on one side with one color, come back with the other. I've done this as well to create a pretty backdrop for doing snowflake rocks. They really do cover well as long as you use the proper kind of paint. There's a lot of tips about how she does it in the post. One of the main ones to take away from this is to use a paint with primer in it, because then you don't have to go coat after coat after coat. The only con to the spray paint base coat is it has to be done someplace ventilated. So if you don't have access to a garage or like a back porch that's covered because you want it to be in the shade, this might be something that does not work for you. So that is the second way that you can base coat your rocks. You can also find just plain whites, plain blacks to do that as well. The next tutorial we are going to dub the big swipe. We have a rock painting tutorials group over on Facebook where other people share tutorials and things that they're trying with their rocks. And I just loved this technique that one of our members was doing to base coat her rocks. So I asked if she would take some images for us, and she did. So all of those are located on the website. Again, link below. Go check it out at the end of this video. This is a great way to base coat a lot of rocks and get a fun gradient look to your rocks. A couple pros about this is it's really easy. You can do multiple rocks at the same time. I know when you see the first rock, it looks like a lot of paint, but once you get that brush going, you just take it from rock to rock to rock, and you can base coat a bunch of rocks all at the same time. The only con is you have to do a lot at the same time for this to be a good process for you to use. If you take out 3 big blobs of paint just to base coat one rock, and you don't have plenty of rocks to kind of move that paint around on, you're gonna end up wasting a lot of paint. But if you're a beginner, this is a really quick and easy way to get those fun gradient rocks. And as you can see, you can do really pretty designs on top of them when you're done. This next method, number 4, is a string swipe method for base coating your rocks. This will also give you kind of a gradient look to your rocks, but it also changes it to look a little bit more watercolor. You can use a lot of different colors, and you don't have to worry about the width of your brush to go across all the different colors at once. As you can see, I used this method to create a complete rainbow on a giant rock. And then in the video that I'm kind of sharing here to the side, I did some neon colors that came out really bright, and I love the little watercolor kind of effect it has when it dries using just a little bit of water on my string. And once you add black lettering, these rocks really pop. Now you can do a bunch of these really quick and easy. The only thing that I would say is a con to this method is it depends on the rocks you have to whether or not this really works well. Now on a bright white rock, it really looks beautiful. On the darker rocks, it can look a little bit faded. So you could either base coat the rock first white, or just stick with this method if you have lighter colored stones. Before I move on to base coat number 5, I just want to let you know at the very end of this video, I will add some bonus ideas and images of other things that we've done. We have well over 5 different base coats on the website and here on YouTube. So I'll make sure to link to the playlist as well for you to kind of go through and look for other ideas. The main thing is these are jumping off points. Once you see all 5 of these, you can really let your imagination take them in all sorts of different directions. Okay, moving on to number 5, using sponges to create gradient base coats. Now, this base coat technique does take a little bit more practice, but they make beautiful rocks. We do have this full-length video available on YouTube, so again, the link will be below, the card is above if you would like to watch this with all of my talking through and tips and tricks. But you can get these gorgeous colored stones using this gradient effect, using a sponge to kind of blend your colors together. They are great backgrounds for kindness rocks. The only con I would say to this method is it does actually take a bit more practice to hone in on your technique a little bit, but you can do this on any style of rock, any color of rock, any shape of rock. You can blend from one color to another. It doesn't have to be in this circular effect either. And that takes us to the end of our list. Now I do have some bonus rocks I want to share with you. We have another guest post on the site that was from Black Bunny Rocks where she did use a makeup sponge to do some gradient effects, and she has beautiful color combinations and stones. So if you'd like to check those out, I'll leave a link to those. We've also used Posca paint pens to blend 2 colors together to create a backdrop for kindness rocks. So I will make sure to link to that one as well. And you can also use anything. I've also done a base coat with colored pencils on rocks. So all of these things are just jumping off points, and we have plenty more to come. Well, that's the end of our list. So I hope you enjoyed seeing all these different techniques. If you did, take a second to give the video a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments below which one you're gonna try, or if you do use one of these techniques already, let us know which one you use below and why it works so well for you. I love when other people get to read others' experiences as far as rock painting. I'll also leave a link to the group that I discussed earlier today, our rock painting tutorials group, because it's an amazing community where everybody shares their different rock painting techniques and ideas as well. We'll see you all soon with another tutorial. Bye-bye.